it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I actually completely forgot I was wearing the new away shirt. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I'm not usually a guy that's a fan of wearing white unless it's a white shirt at a wedding or something like that. But I must say, I do like the new away shirt, and I completely forgot I was wearing it there for a while. It only came in the door this morning. Morgan Rogers on the back of it this year, and Paddy. I've one here for you with Pau Torres in the back of it. Well, Pau 14 for you as well, waiting to get down to Limerick. King Pau, exactly, and hopefully he will be King Pau at the weekend, and hopefully it'll be
absolutely majestic man. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, Paddy's still reveling in that run out of defence last week for when against West Ham. It was absolutely brilliant. And look, the confidence of that man, we'll get into it later on, but the confidence that man exudes when he's playing alongside Ezri Konsa is 100% why I think it should be Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa as two centre halves. But that's a conversation probably for later on, because we're going to talk about Aston Villa versus Arsenal in an early big test for Aston Villa, or an early big test for Arsenal, Paddy. Which do you think it is?
Well, I have absolutely no idea. The only thing that I do love about this one is I love a 5:30 kickoff at home. I think Villa Park is usually rocking by that stage of a Saturday afternoon, and especially when it's your first home game of the season. It seemed to be Everton nearly every week, every year for the last few years, and Everton was kicked down the road just a little bit, but yeah, it's a tough one to have, but I wonder will we be there at 7:30, 8 o'clock on Saturday thinking that was the best possible time to have it. We could set down an absolute marker, or we could get turned over. I've absolutely no way of telling you how this one is going to go. I was bitterly disappointed at a certain decision in the football weekend.
What could that have been? Pray tell, Patrick.
Sure. Won't take a rocket science. So I made the decision. I'm on my holidays. Fuck PGMOL and fuck every other greedy bastards in the league. I'm not watching any more football. Now, as it happened, some of it was on when I was eating dinner or whatever, but I did not go out of my way to watch any highlights or watch Arsenal or watch anything about them, other than that I know that they beat Wolves 2-0, and we had a brilliant win against West Ham, which made me very, very happy.
Absolutely, yeah. A very good win. I know I didn't speak to you since about it, but very good win to get started for the season. And look, being honest, Paddy, like you've done post matches for some of the preseason stuff, and people were worried. People were worried about what way it was going to go. And in the team sheet tantrum when we were doing it, I had said that the difference between this team this year and West Ham would be that obviously they're not installing a whole new game plan. They're not installing a whole new manager's ideology, mindset, so on and so forth. That the majority of the players that have played 18 months in what Unai Emery wants them to do will be lining out against West Ham, and that was the case. And you could see that in the first half an hour. The team looked fluid. They looked together. They looked like they knew what was happening. Then everybody knew where to be. It clicked. And yeah, West Ham and every team that plays Aston Villa is going to have their purple patches against us. Absolutely every team. While we want to be a ball dominant team, we're not there yet. Specifically against teams that are when we're playing away from home and good teams like West Ham. And that's what I was most happy to see, was my faith in the fact that Unai Emery has a system and the players know how to play it was repaid, because it could have very easily not been,
Well, I think the long and the short of it is we saw a culmination of a rather disjointed, or as we saw it, a disjointed pre-season, which was basically pull the wool over everyone's eyes, and we saw everything come together in that first half an hour, which is why I'm so upset over the decision, because a decision, whether you believe it was a penalty, whether it's not a penalty, whether you believe Matty Cash shouldn't have dived in, whether you believe the bullshit that they've spun us for years and years and years, but he got the ball first, and then we do it. And no, his intention wasn't to play the ball. He got the ball, but his intention wasn't to play the ball. Alan Smith told us. Give me a fucking break.
Nonsense.
Oh,
that is nonsense.
Absolute nonsense. But then you've got that change in the momentum of the game. That changed the momentum of the game. And when you get a decision like that, you see all the big clubs, they wallow in it. They absolutely love when these things gets turned over that way. And it absolutely spurs them on. So went completely against us, changed the complete pattern of play. We got back into it in the second half. We got the winner. We gave him the 2 fingers and we marched up the M6 very, very happy. But that's still that cloud is hanging over me of Alan Smith words and the fact he kicked the ball first. And listening to that fucking pathetic Sky Sports ref watch. I'm sorry.
I watched that and I went, I hope Paddy has his blood pressure tablets and he's watching this.
I just go, what? Seriously. First of all, 58% of people said it was a penalty.
That's nonsense. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
I didn't. The only people I spoke to, I met a lot of football fans on that Saturday night after the match. The only people that said it was a penalty were West Ham fans. And I mean, I met Blue Noses, I met Wolves fans, I met Baggies, I met Liverpool, I met Man United, I met Arsenal. Every single fucking person said it wasn't a penalty. But yet they have those popularity contests on Sky where people get animated and press buttons like I do when they have a feeling, and then they take that as gospel. Dermot Gallagher fucking splinters himself. There's no way he's getting off the fence to have a go at a referee anyway, that's for sure.
But Paddy, he's the man that when Ireland are in international competition, he follows Ireland. When Ireland aren't in an international competition, he follows England. So you call them splinters. There you go. That's Dermot Gallagher. But look, I have no problem with anyone doing that. But as I say, when it comes to that, he's that's money for Jam. His job is money for Jam because
it's money for Jam when you offer nothing.
That's what I was going to say. He doesn't have to have an opinion. Just the fact that he's ex-ref Dermot Gallagher. And look, fine. If you say, listen, it's a pick and pass him here, then the opinion should be, or the conversation should be, okay, well then let's strengthen the law because you're not allowed to call them routes. Let's strengthen the laws of the game and make sure that there's no grey area here where it can be a pick and choose. That's kind of my view on it as well. If everything is subjective, then number one, what's the point of VAR? Number two, what's the point of the law? Why isn't the law being strengthened up so that it's not subjective?
Well, I think the league personally pissed them off because they voted 19 clubs to 1 to save VAR, and the reason people save VAR is if it's run properly, it fucking works.
It works.
But these people cannot run it properly. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face, until Coward Webb steps down and somebody new and impartial comes in, be it Pierluigi Collina or someone from a different country with a positive outlook on these things, instead of everything being negative, then it's not going to work. It will never work on these brand of people.
I was just going to say, Paddy, I watched, I don't know whether officials from other countries are going to get it right either. You watch a lot of Scottish football. That's point in case. And second point in case, I happened to be flicking through Twitter today and I saw the most ridiculous tackle in the TNS. Well, so the Welsh team, TNS, were playing some UEFA Conference League qualifier today. And the most two-footed tackles jumped off the ground and literally went over the ball. Luckily, didn't connect with the man, only because it connects with the man, but as the man is bringing his foot away from it. Stonewaller of a red card. Absolute stonewall. Nothing. Hot ball was given. There was no free given. It was given a hot ball.
There's no VAR though.
It was there's no
what? There's no VAR in that.
There was VAR in it, yeah. As far as I'm,
Well,
well,
I
that's
was,
what
I
they
was
said.
at a
No,
co-
I couldn't see whether it went to
Oh, yeah.
like they basically said this is the tackle, and VAR said it was that there was nothing in it. There was no card given after when this went to VAR, and it was a
Yeah.
stonewaller. I mean, like as stonewall as you'll ever get. So look, anyway, we could be here forever with regards to it, but it's yeah, I just don't know. I think you need to have a yes or a no. Look, I can't understand in the area of AI, you make the rules as stringent as you can, as complex as you can, and you basically type it into the fucking machine. This is what happened, and AI runs it and goes, yeah, by the law of the game, that's a red card. If you're
Well,
going to do
what I don't
VAR,
like
take
now
the
is
human element out of it altogether.
they've told us now that it's referee's call. So that's their new buzzwords to hide behind. Referee's
So no
call.
VAR.
What does referee's call mean? Referee's call means that they can protect whoever they fucking like, and the rest of us can fuck off. That's exactly it. There's no other way this fucking works. Referee's call is a load of bollocks. At the end of the day, VAR is brought in. There's two people sitting up there. If they can't make a decision, okay, who was the clown? Tony Harrington, was it? Okay, Tony, you need to come and have a look at this. That's the way they do it in every other league, except for fucking Howard Webb introducing this absolute bollocksology. That's what the screen is on the side of the pitch for. Let him go and have a look over it. Let him stand over his own word. I don't care how long it fucking takes. I just want it to be right.
Yeah,
And I don't believe they
that's
got it right at the
nonsense as
weekend.
well.
And
You're,
as for
right.
this nonsense of blowing whistles and telling us we're going to send a tweet out after every decision and tell you what happened. No, you fucking didn't. You told us what the decision was. The referee, we're not turning over the referee's decision. The greatest excuse for a fucking Twitter account that I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's some funny ones out there. There's ones that tell us how many days it is since Mayo won in All Ireland. There's ones that tell us how long it is since Birmingham City have won a Premier League match. Well, I would put that in the same bracket. It's a load of shit. An absolute load of shit. And once again, here we are, one game into the season, and Paddy's blood pressure's through the roof.
Through the roof.
So anyway,
I follow Big Ben on Twitter, and that's just the most genius account of all time because at 1 o'clock it just types in bong, and at 2 o'clock it's bong bong, and at 3 o'clock it's bong bong bong, and like the genius that came up with that back in 2009, I think it was, and created that account. Brilliant, one of my favorite accounts, and people would probably still be offended by it somehow along the line.
Do you have the notification switched on that it tells you what time it is?
I did at one stage just to know what time it was. It was very handy. No, when the hour was coming up, your phone would go, so it's very good. Anyway, yeah. So look, that was last weekend, and this is this weekend, and we're at home this weekend. And before we get on to the team, Paddy, I should have said this to you beforehand. Before we get on to looking at Villa Arsenal, did you get a chance to check out Chris Heck's interview with Kate Tracy today? New Villa in-house reporter Kate Tracy as well. I must say I'm familiar with her from the horse racing stuff that she does. But
I had no idea who she was.
You got a chance to see it today, did you?
Yeah, I watched it today. Not a whole pile to report in it other than to look around the stadium, and I think everybody is waiting to see what the new tunnel looks like. I hope we're not going to be disappointed on Saturday when TNT Sports put it up, and I'm expecting
tunnel,
one of these.
He made a big deal. That was exactly what I was getting there. He made a massive deal of the tunnel. Like this tunnel would want to, like I don't know. What does it have?
You're expecting one of those ones like Bayern Munich that come up out of the ground.
Yeah, I've no idea. How good? Like is. I genuinely, I'm trying to come up with this fantastic thing other than the tunnel is going to, retract and it's going to protrude out into the field and it's going to retract back afterwards. What the hell could it be? I don't know.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that he found a way of putting a roof on the tunnel and he maybe put seats on top of it to get more people into the ground.
There we go.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just that was the one thing that stuck out. And of course, the fact that the one thing that irked me last summer was the fact that the top of the day, they were a great band, weren't they?
Was just painted on the wall.
Was painted on the wall of the whole thing. So they tightened everything up there, and we now have those lovely words back on the bottom of the the lower Holt. So yeah, the stadium looks great. Look, I'd like to hear from Chris Heck more often. I'd like to hear him answer some fan questions, and I think that's perfectly understandable at this stage. He's there long enough. But yeah, I think once a month he should be coming out telling us what's happening and what the plans are and how things are going and how things are developing. Because like we see the club doing some great stuff. They brought over 100 people into the club shop on Wednesday, and I thought it was genius to announce Emi Martinez's contract extension while they were there. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, why not do it with an audience? Why not do it that way? Because like everybody loves him, absolutely adores him. Great to see a few familiar faces popping up on social media and people sending in their photos of them and Emi Martinez. And it's great to have that interaction with fans, because that used to always be the case over the years with Villa, that the players were close to the fans, and we kind of lost that during the Steven Gerrard era, and they never came back.
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways we lost it before that, you know. Like I think the Premier League kind of lost it. In fairness, look, and this isn't having a pop at Villa or anything like that, because I think it's a Premier League thing whereby yeah, the regular video calling called what the heck. Or heckle Chris. That's what it could be if things aren't going right. That's great. I'm very proud of myself for coming up with that right in the moment. But where was I? Oh yeah, I'm not having a pop off Villa here because I think it's more of a Premier League thing. But you know, the distance that has been created between fans and players, probably in the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. Like I don't know if I can speak for other clubs, but I know when I'm speaking to when I'm talking to like Liverpool fans and United fans, the fact that you can go up to the railing in Villa Park and players will come over, sign stuff and things there. Sometimes Villa or Liverpool United fans, when you mention that, they go, they'll do that. Jesus, that's pretty cool. You know, like I don't know whether it is or it isn't the done thing at other clubs like that, but so like the Premier League clubs have created that distance. So to see something like that and in such a cool venue of the new club shop, which looks absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to get over there. Is really good. And I hope to do more of that, because at the JD store in Times Square, they had 3 players there as well. And Jack Grimsey, who we had in the podcast last week, was interviewing them as well. So I hope they keep up that. I hope they keep, because it's good PR. And it's nice as well for the fans. It's nice to get to see them and hear the players, the current players talk, because like, you know, best of luck trying to get a player on a podcast or something like that, a current player, because it just ain't happening. It just ain't happening. Like, so
to be fair, no other club does that either.
No,
absolutely fine with that. But like I said on this podcast before, I have seen kids go to Villa Park for the first time and fall head over heels in love with the whole occasion of being able to stand there in front of a player through a fence, even if it is through a fence, shake his hand, take a photo, get something signed. It's just class, and we were always above everybody else. I've been to every other Premier League ground over the years and never seen it. The exception is Sunderland. Sunderland make their players park the car. Well, they did make their players park the car and walk across the car park through the fans, which was bizarre in itself. But also great that the fans could hang around there and meet the players if they needed to, whatever, 2 hours before the game. But it doesn't happen anywhere else, in my opinion. So it's great that we always had that. But I do believe it was the COVID years, and then Steven Gerrard is not very fan friendly, I don't believe. So that completely washed it out altogether. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them still do stop and sign autographs and stuff like that. But everything is just so protected now that they're ushered in by security and everything else.
Yeah, and look, that's okay too. I wonder that kind of brings us to the next point. I wonder tomorrow evening will we have the meet at the McGregor statue thing again? That went down a treat last year. I wonder will they spring that on us tomorrow and say, or tomorrow or Thursday or Saturday, and say, hey, listen, let's all meet at the McGregor statue and go nuts for the players going in first game of the season against the team who potentially could be champions at the end of the year. Let's make it raucous and get 6 points when a lot of people were crossing their fingers for 2 points in the first 2 games. I wonder will that happen? Because that is kind of cool, and and I'm sure the players get something off it as well. So it'd be interesting.
Absolutely. I thought we probably did it a bit too long last year. I was towards the end of it. I was going, I don't know. But it absolutely created a raucous atmosphere around the statue, along the line streets there. The one I remember more than most was the one we were at, the Bournemouth one. I thought was class. The sun was shining. It was 3 o'clock on a Sunday. It was really, really nice. So it was really, really impactful because everyone was there early in the sunshine. With piss and rain, it's completely different, I suppose.
Yeah,
and I'm sure the
that's
players probably don't want to walk that distance in the piss and rain either. So, but look, it'll be interesting to see. There's didn't he say there was some kind of kids fan zone coming around by the players' entrance?
Yes, yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and I like a lot going on. I like that they're thinking outside the box and doing different things. But I wasn't having a pop about it being a thing of the past. It is for everybody, as you rightly say, that the players have lost touch with the fans. Apart from throwing their jerseys at someone that made a handwritten sign, they've lost touch with the fans. And look, it's in a time where we had a pandemic. It would have been way too much to ask. But I think now we're out the other side of that. We should be all celebrating this together. And the kids are the future. When they eventually build that big stadium, if it comes, or the big North Stand, it's those kids we need to keep interested and motivated to keep coming to games. So they're the future. Protect them. Let them fall in love with our amazing team and our amazing players and our amazing club.
Yeah, I think so. And that starts on Saturday. And, this game against Arsenal, Paddy, like, it's very difficult to do match previews, I think, an awful lot during, like, for the first couple of games of the season, because
it is very difficult. We found that last year and the year before as well. It's just
I think
you
last
just don't
year,
know what's going to happen.
And last year, at least, we had the Conference League kind of tune-up games as well that we could gather something from that. Like, I'm fully expecting Arsenal to go out with the same 11 as they did last week. I'm expecting us to have 10 of the 11. Matty Cash doesn't seem like he's going to be fit for the weekend. What do we do there? Do we trust Costa and pop him in there? I would. Because as I said at the top of the show, there was, that's the conversation. Do we bring in Carlos? Do we play Carlos and Pau? Like we didn't, and let's forget we did that in the 2-0 win last year. Carlos played beside Pau Torres with Konsa at right back, and Carlos had one of his better games. Or do we play Kostin Jelkovic? So we don't know how to pronounce names as well from that Premier League video this week, Paddy. But what do you do?
How do you spell Barnechea?
Well, and Illing Jr. They got Illing Jr. wrong again. That's the second time the club have got. Well, I won't put it on the club because I don't know there was a club or Sky Sports. But whoever brought Illing Jr. got it wrong, and whoever wrote Barnechea got it wrong too. That drives me mad. For a dyslexic man, that drives me mad. Or for an undiagnosed dyslexic man, that drives me mad. Anyway.
Look, as you say, it's very hard to give a measured prediction or synopsis of how this is going to turn out when you haven't. I haven't seen Arsenal play at all this season, pre-season, so I don't know if there's any changes in system. I wouldn't expect so with a manager like what's his name, Salty Balls himself, Arteta. Yeah, I'm not expecting too much. As you look, and he's ramped up the pressure on himself, as Ronan said. The pressure's all on Arsenal. He ramped that up himself with a statement at the weekend. I don't have it off the top of my head, but he basically said we're going to see the true Arsenal against Aston Villa. Would that be correct?
Something along those lines. I don't have it too. Yeah. I don't have it, but like his antics to the pickpocket and the light bulb, they're fine. But like there's a guy with a camera crew following him around, and there are things you do when a camera crew is following you around, and like you see the Burnley one where a company is barreling your man out of it. There's no way company's doing that in every training session. That's another thing people do when there's a camera crew following you around, but look, Arteta does have that like as you said. whatever. I can't remember the phraseology he used either, but he did kind of. He was very dismissive and patronising. Let's see what happens at the weekend, I suppose.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think he's going to find it very easy to roll us over either. So it's a very exciting matchup for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going. I'll repeat again because everyone keeps asking me in the comments and on Twitter. I haven't booked any games until the Champions League draw comes out because I don't know whether I'm going to be top heavy needing the money for the start of the Champions League or at the back end of the Champions League. Part of me is hoping it's the back end of the Champions League and I get a nice couple of trips in January. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I would, I'd love to be going on Saturday, and we've another problem with bloody season tickets at the moment, and people can't get them downloaded onto their phone and can't get through, and the phone lines are closed on the ticket office. So it's tough on everyone at the moment, and they left it just too late to send out those season tickets. I haven't downloaded mine. I didn't even try because I don't need to. I spent all day today emailing and ringing, trying to get my tickets transferred over to someone else so they could go. Still haven't got it done. Still a little bit worried about it, but hopefully I get it sorted tomorrow. But geez, I can't understand why it went out 3 or 4 days before the first game and make life difficult for themselves.
Yeah, for all we spoke about Heck and all the great stuff they're doing, the fan engagement side of things during the game or before game time with the shop has been great, been a rip-roaring success. The shirts have been very, very successful. It seems like everything with the season ticket has just been like nil pois, hasn't it? Been from all the communication from start to finish with the season tickets this year. Just needs to be revised. And everybody knows me. I'm not going to sit here and start spitting nettles at anyone, but like that's definitely something they're going to have a big red ring around. Go, lads, we can't have that again next year because nobody seems happy with season ticket, with the allocations, with the movement, with the the opportunities for people to buy in over and leapfrog people, which I don't really have a problem with because the club needs to have those options available to them as well, but. Yeah, the most ill will that you could probably point at the moment with regards to the running of the club would probably be the season ticket and just the communication around it at the moment. So, not to denigrate anything from what the club has done, but it's definitely a point that needs to be addressed in the coming 12 months. So we aren't here again next year, and I think that's fair enough to say.
I'm going to be fair in saying this because I obviously worked in a ticketing situation for a professional club before. Changing stuff like this is very, very difficult. And changing fan mindsets to do this is very, very difficult. Moving servers from one ticketing agent to another is very, very difficult too. But surely something needs to be worked in the background because if I can't go Saturday, I'm more than happy to sell my ticket back to the club and then make more money on it. Instead, I've got to go and try and find someone who's looking for a ticket. Then get onto the ticket office, change the fan ID. Whereas people who are living in the UK and have a UK bank account, they can do it straight away, and I can't, which is very frustrating. But look,
that's something I think in the 5 years that this podcast has been going and the 4.5 that you've been on it, Paddy, I think you've mentioned that probably. No, and I'm not saying you're wrong but that's been going on for time immemorial. And I know that you had a word with somebody very, very, very high in Aston Villa last 2 years ago. I think it was now about that. And look, nothing has come of it yet. But anyway,
disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing. But look, I'm happy to have my season ticket. But the harder it gets to move it on, then it means that I can't justify renewing it if I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to move it on and do things the right way. How the club expect us to move on tickets and do everything right, and it is what it is. But it's disappointing for me personally and any other overseas fan that has a season ticket.
For sure.
And it's just made even harder because everybody's trying to get through to the bloody season ticket, the ticket office at the moment, because they can't download their tickets, or those that were expecting a card in the post I know one particular man who rings me on a regular basis, a season ticket holder. He rings me off his Nokia 3210, which is definitely not going to download his season ticket for him. So I feel for those guys that it just didn't get sorted out in time, and hopefully they've got all hands on deck to get this sorted tomorrow, because I can't rock up there from here and get my ticket sorted out. So and most people can't. They're under time constraints to get there for kickoff as it is. So to get there a few hours early and queue up to have it done at the ticket office is going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And be prepared for be prepared for Twitter to melt down. I think on Saturday around 5 o'clock, when a lot of people aren't in the ground, and they're probably used to being in around the ground and maybe in queues, with tickets. But look, as I say, we'll discuss that afterwards, and we're not trying to be the harbingers of doom with regards to that. As I say, we haven't done an awful lot of talking about the Villa Arsenal match of the weekend, and as I say, because it's very difficult to just preview it and try and get it done right. Like, Arsenal looked like a smooth, fluid machine. They didn't for times against Wolves. I thought Wolves were a lot more together outfit than I expected them to be with some of the players that had left. But, you keep Arsenal's front four quiet, and the likes of Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli and Kai Havertz, and you're always going to have a chance. But, then they can spring off the bench the likes of like Jurriën Timber is now back. They're bringing him back in at left back. Trossard came off the bench, if I'm not mistaken, and Gabriel Jesus as well. So their bench is strong, but our bench is strong as well. And I think at the weekend, obviously, it looks like we'll be down Matty Cash. Not being confirmed or anything like that anywhere that Matty Cash is even injured. A lot of people going on it that, he did have a bit of a hamstring strain or whatever against West Ham. I'd be surprised to see him based on that, but we see what team goes out. But it's very difficult, I think, to judge it, considering our John McGinn came off in the last game, probably still building up fitness, and Ollie Watkins obviously came up in the last game building up fitness, and they're going to be two key players for us at the weekend and throughout the course of the season. So neither of the two teams are fully cooked yet, I don't think. So Paddy, with that in mind, and with the fact that we are sparse on the Arsenal stuff, and I know you have to be gone in 3 minutes, Sterling, Paddy. Rumors abound today.
Not very strong against the Euro at the moment.
No, that was my joke. I was going to say, after you got off and how much you didn't want Sterling to join us, I was going to say, yeah, but you're petty. You wouldn't have much mass in Sterling anyway, considering the Euros. That was going to be my joke. But I think I inadvertently called Sterling to Aston Villa before everybody. So I want Romano to put me in his tweets from here on, because you guys will remember about 2 weeks ago, I happened to throw out the likes of Rashford and Sterling as potential, as they were kind of opposite sides of the coin to João Felix, to come in here. People who were in the Premier League, who'd done it in the Premier League, who proven they'd done it in the Premier League, and would people take them? And it was a resounding no from everybody at the time. And I think nothing has really changed. I'm not expecting you to have changed your opinion on Sterling, but I'll ask you about it anyway, Paddy.
Well, it won't come as much of a surprise for anyone who's listened to the podcast over the years and who he has played for. I don't like him. I don't want him. But if we're going to take him, I want it to be alone and alone only, because I don't want another Philip Coutinho situation where we're left with this guy sitting on a big fat paycheck and having to go to 2 or 3 seasons paying him on loan somewhere. So if we're going to take him, I hope it's only a loan situation, because I don't think he has it in his heart to play a full season and knock it out of the park. That's just my opinion. I think he's looked a disinterested player for a few years now, and I never really liked him because he's just not my type of player. I think he goes down too easy. I think he gets knocked off the ball too easy at times. Is he a good player? Yes, absolutely. Is he capable of changing games? Yes, absolutely. Is he what we need? Not sure.
I can see, as everybody will know, do I want Raheem Sterling? I look at two sides of the coin with him as well, and I look and I say that in his career he's only had 2 seasons where he hasn't hit double-digit goals in a season, and even that's when he's not been. I agree with you, Paddy. Since he went to Chelsea, he's been like, screw this. I've made a big mistake here. And I think he's felt he made a big mistake moving to Chelsea. I don't know why he moved to Chelsea in the first place. Maybe he's all that glitters isn't gold. Maybe he was taking him with the project because he was one of the first people to move to Chelsea. I don't know, did he move pre or post their bunker spending sessions anyway? But along the short of it is here, I think maybe he was duped into that. He's only 29 years of age as well, and like his goal scoring record is there. I agree with you. That, as I said, he doesn't look too interested. The thing, it would be very hard for me to turn him down on loan. Like if there's not, like a lot of people say only on loan, and then maybe I might consider it. I think if it's loan, you snap their hands off, because I could see ways that you could integrate this guy very easily into the team. Now the big problem there is, you start talking about it and people are going, well, I want Jacob Ramsey to play in that left side if you're going to move Morgan Rogers in, and well, I want John McGinn to be in the team every week, and why have Raheem Sterling there on loan? I completely understand all that as well. He wouldn't be my first choice, but I could understand why Unai Emery might want him. But the club would need to tread very, very lightly with regards to the PSR implications. And I agree with everything in the squad. In the chat here, people are saying it's a Gerrard type signing. I think that's wages are what they are. If he's willing to take a pay cut, we can't control the wages for anyone. Like Luka Dean's on 175 grand a week, if you're to believe that. Is he worth 175 grand a week for what he gives us in the field? That's not for me to say. But we will always have players that are on astronomical wages. That's where the club needs to tread lightly, though. Yeah, I think for sure.
Yeah. Don't know for sure what his wages are, but he's the kind of player that I point the finger at and go, does that guy go out on the pitch and give 110% every week? Does he absolutely try and win every game? Yes. Does Raheem Sterling? Not for me. So, alone with paying partially paying his wages would probably be the only thing that I would go, right, okay, I can see why you're doing this. I know our mate Chris Dolan had a tweet over the weekend when this first came around. He was absolutely hammered in it, which I thought was fairly unfair, given that.
Me too,
It wasn't the first time it was mentioned. You have to think about these things rationally. And I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Unai hasn't let us down yet. So if he believes that he's a man that could come in and do a job that will make us all very, very happy and get many, many goals and points for us throughout this season, like if you add his goals compared to what we've lost with Douglas Luiz, for example, then we're not so much at a loss. He's going to bring other players into play. The way he gets to the boiler and puts the ball out to the edge of the box, and we've got so many players that can arrive in the edge of the box and finish now. Tielemans, Rogers, Ramsey, Watkins.
You mentioned about him going down too easy. I'd prefer to see fellas diving for us than diving against us as well at the same time. There is that element. While I want diving,
you can be sure Tony Harrington is brought over to check it if he's playing for Villa instead of playing for Chelsea.
That's true.
And we saw that when Ashley Young left Aston Villa for the first time and got absolutely fucking nothing for us. The minute he goes to Man United, he gets everything. That's the way it works. That's why I have a problem with this refereeing system. Anyway, I'm not going to go back down that road again. So that's, in a nutshell, what I think of it. If you're asking me, do I want him? No. Can I see why why he could sign him? Absolutely.
I see a couple of people saying that he might upset the squad, and that could be true. But people at Man City spoke really people at Man City spoke glowingly about him, and apparently Seth and Leon Bailey are best buds, talk to each other on a daily basis. So I look, anybody could come in and break the dressing room. Somebody could just be a smelly farter and break the dressing room. Who knows? They're weird places. I would imagine weird places at amateur level. Never mind the professional level. So, you guys could be right. I've no idea with stuff like that. Same thing was said about Joe Felix. Same thing was said about lots of players, I suppose, down through the years, and some of them have proven to be right. So it does happen. That other guy, Paddy, do you know anything about him? Samu Amaradian?
Other
I
than the
suppose
little bit
actually
I
I'll phrase the question differently. Do you think Duran is going out and this guy is coming in to replace him?
I don't think Duran is going anywhere.
Do you not think so?
I think there's a little bit of worry in the back of our minds that we could make a very big mistake selling Duran, and that's why we didn't take the lesser money that was offered. Just my opinion, nothing to base that on. That's just me and my football brain in overdrive. But why not bring him in alongside him? Let them all work together.
Oh,
You know, we've
absolutely. I'd
lots of
do that
games.
tomorrow.
We could have 50+ games this season. We're going to need them just like last season. But then it's all like a lot of this is down to PSR. We still have players there that need to be shifted on for sure, and God knows what's going on in the background. We also have we're still linked with Gertruda, so he's one I'd like to see happen. Really like to see happen. You all know that at this stage, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's something we have to have right now. But if he's one for the future, and we're getting at the right money.
I'll give you this. Riddle me this. All right. Chelsea come back in and they go, we'll give you, let's say, 25 million sterling for Duran. And you go, and we end up getting Raheem Sterling and this young kid for the price of John Duran. I would struggle to see how the club, I would struggle to see how the club would turn that down in a lot of ways. I don't think anybody can be 100% confident we're going to keep Duran based on what Unai Emery has said. And he does keep the cards close to his chest an awful lot, but he's very much like, well, look, if something comes in, you know, we could sell him. Essentially, is what he said. It's not been a case of like, even with Diego Carlos, he's kind of said, well, he's with the team now, he's training with us and everything like that, and you know, things might happen. But with this guy, he was like, meh. You know, you could see his body language is a bit like, yeah, look, if something comes in for him, we're going to let him go. I'm happy with him to stay. I'm not trying to sell John Duran. I'm just playing devil's advocate from this point of view here. Maybe if the club are trying to move and shake with regards to PSR, I don't know. It's it makes for an exciting last 7 days of the transfer window anyway, I would imagine. I'm sure Simon Dawkins and Borja Baston and Tom Carroll are all waiting by their phone for their phone calls from Aston Villa at some stage over the next 7 days. But it makes for excitement, and fucking football breaks your heart more often than it doesn't. But there's something about the transfer season that always, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No one has died, and you know, you don't lose 3 points if you don't sign those people in that time. So for me, yeah, I don't know. I don't know with either of them, but I'd like both.
The only thing,
if we sign them, I'd be delighted. Put it that way.
The only thing that is someone said to me the other day, a Villa fan that I met in on my holidays, he said to me, if they just said to you now the window's closed, would you be happy? Are we comfortable enough? And I think the answer is no. And I said to him, if we signed Gertruda now, I would be very happy, because I just think we just need one more that can fill in that role that Ezri Konsa did when Matty Cash was out, or he decided to leave Matty Cash out. And I think he's capable of doing that. And the amount of experience that kid has of playing 4 or 5 years Champions League football, Europa League football, international football with Holland, that's all invaluable experience to be bringing in. And if you're getting them at the right price, it's absolutely huge. So for me, there is a bit of business still to be done. It's the ones we can ship out now to make space for those that are everything. And look, let's see what there's a reason we have Monchi there to do those deals. He's the clever brains behind the deals, we're told. So I am confident within myself that he can do it. And we just got to trust that when we sit back in whatever it is, 8 or 9 days time, that this is all. Is it the Sunday night the transfer closes, the 30th, or the Saturday night?
It's the 30th.
Sunday's the 1st, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 30th anyway that it closes. Yeah, Friday night, isn't it? 30 days have September, April, June, and yeah, it's the 30th of August, so it closes I think Saturday it's Friday night. Is it Friday, Saturday night? Yeah.
The first is a Sunday. Yeah.
Well, there's 31 days in
31 days
August,
in
isn't it?
August. Yeah.
Yeah, so then it's the Friday. It's late, Paddy, and you had a delayed flight coming home from Turkey last night, and you said that you were tired, so I'll leave
I'm
you off
very
with that one.
tired.
Yeah, I'll leave you
No,
off
I
with
was just
that one.
worrying myself there because I've gone to a gig on the Sunday the first, and I'm going, shit, I won't see transfer deadline day.
Yeah. No, I think it's the 30th. I think it's 30th for sure. 11 p.m. So he says here the 30th. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So yeah, look, as I said, it's good to have conversations about any player that we're linked with. People will always agree with a transfer, people always disagree with, people always get way too high end players, people always get way too low end players, but it's that discourse that keeps us sane, I suppose, really. Keeps everybody sane, within the footballing world. Beats talking about VAR anyway, that's for sure. And speaking about VAR, so guys, bit of a programming notes for the weekend. Obviously, we will have a team sheet tantrum. Paddy will be running it from his podcasting boudoir. I will be on the sauce, so I will be in the back of a pub somewhere. And as long as Villa don't get beaten 5-0, try and get on and do a post-match podcast afterwards as well from one of the lovely pubs of Galway at some stage.
Post-match rocks around, we'll both be in the pub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Paddy will be in one pub and I'll be in a different pub, and we'll be traversing the west coast of Ireland at that stage. If anybody is around Galway and wants to, we're angling to go watch it in the back of Pucan pub. A couple of us. I haven't put anything out from I haven't put anything out at all from the Connacht Lions this whole summer, so I really should. But if anybody's in around the Galway area, you won't miss on Pucan. We're going to try and get it on the back part of that and have a bit of a knees up for the day. So if anybody's around, I'd be more than happy to make your acquaintance. And also, I just wanted to say to a couple of people there as well, it hasn't gone unbeknownst that some of you guys have been commenting on my hair and admiring it. And as old Father Time is beginning to become undefeated and I'm beginning to go a small bit bald in the back, I decided I'd change it up a small bit before it's gone completely. So thank you so much for noticing. It is, and it does take years off me. I do think the same. But yeah, the tickets to Turkey, Paddy, like yourself, the tickets to Turkey are becoming more and more desirable, I think, at the moment, because as I've always said, I can be small, fat, but I can't be small, fat and bald. That would really make me feel bad about myself. So anyway, thanks a million. And I do look like a nice gem. Who was it that said I look like a nice gem? I did get a good laugh off that, by the way.
Kieran,
was it Kieran? I think it was somebody else mentioned it as well. There was Dan Lane mentioned it, the ice gem hairstyle. So I do like it. Someone else said I was getting in on the Dan Bardell level of Barnett, so top quality Barnett. Yeah, it's Bardell and his hair and makeup team.
Well, as you can see, mine got no better in Turkey, so that ship has sailed. So I'll hang on to the little bit that I have, and I won't try your ice gem because I reckon I'd look very, very bald if I did.
And I want to say thanks to Richard Edwards as well. Richard, you have been a member for the last 2 months, and thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And just before we go as well, guys, just want to direct you here into the podcast notes as well afterwards. You may notice that I forgot to say it at the start, new to all this stuff, but the match previews are presented in conjunction with at football_prizes on Twitter. You'll be able to see any of the information with regards to the latest raffle that they have going on for a signed Ezri Konsa jersey. You've seen I've tweeted about it previously as well. Signed Ezri Konsa jersey in a frame, LED lit frame. Tickets are $3.95, I think it is, and the draw is on Thursday the 29th of August. And also, not only is there that, there's also instant win prizes of unframed memorabilia, signed shirts, signed gloves, signed boots and stuff like that. They're partnered with us this year for the match preview podcasts as well. So give them a shout, give them a look out. And yeah, as I said, one of the things I do need to let you guys know is shipping is only within the UK and Ireland as well. So unfortunately, if you're in Australia, which I know a lot of people watch from there, and also in the US, unfortunately, they only ship to within UK and Ireland. But if anybody within the UK and Ireland is interested, catch their details. They'll be in the podcast notes here as well on YouTube, and also you'll be able to see our tweets as well with regards to that. So thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, thanks for hitting the like button on this as well. And we will be back on Saturday with a team sheet tantrum and hopefully a victorious post-match podcast. But until then, everyone, unless Paddy has anything else to say,
No,
I
go ahead.
am
I go to
going-
bed.
You're going to bed. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.